Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories. If you're new to the channel and you're looking for different things within the rideshare industry, whether it's updates to what's going on, news, tips and tricks for passengers and drivers, or what happens on real rideshare rides, start now by hitting that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. All right, so it's live. What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? It's been a beautiful few last days here, so that's why I've been kind of off and enjoying some time, and then I hurt my neck, but that's a whole different story. So everything's okay now. But yeah, so what we're going to be talking about today is the ongoing debate on whether Uber and Lyft drivers are employees or are they independent contractors. Now, we've been independent contractors since Uber and Lyft had begun, and it is something that is very big debate, especially in California. And more things are coming out of California because it's really technically the guinea pig state when it comes down to everything. What's up, Mad Studios? Is Uber or Lyft running a taxi service or not? Right now, I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure what they're doing right now. But yeah, so one of the things I want to know is, what do you guys think? Do you think that drivers are really independent contractors? Do you think that they should be considered employees? Or do you think that there does have to be some sort of third classification that is brought up and something that needs to be followed for protections for the drivers? Because if you look at what the ballot initiative is for California, what they're trying to get instilled instead of AB5 and really exempt themselves, they are not happy with it. And it's not a good ballot measure at all. If you look at it, there's a lot of loopholes in it. I did a previous video on some of the loopholes. So it's really not good for drivers if you actually read it. It pretty much just puts the exact same thing as it is now currently. But I don't think that is the best for drivers right now as it is either. I mean, back before a few years ago, it was great. You could do a lot of different things. You could drive and really make some good money. Now you can drive and you're probably spending more money than you're bringing in for a lot of people. If they are not paying attention to their expenses, if they're not playing it smart, and if they're just kind of driving around aimlessly. So there's a lot of crazy stuff there when it comes down to it. But yeah, so I want to, like I said, know what your opinions are. And the reason why this is coming up again pretty much all the time is because California has essentially said that their regulatory agency is finding that Uber and Lyft drivers should be employees. So that's what they're saying. And this is going in line with what AB5 had said. This is going in with what the lawsuit that the state of California is taking against, Uber and Lyft. And Uber drivers form a union right now. No, they can't. I mean, not in the typical fashion of what you'd think when it comes to a union. Not like a teachers union or even like a steelworkers union or anything like that. It wouldn't be the same way. You just don't have the drivers that would be probably willing to back end that. You'd probably have some drivers who would be on board, sign up for it, but it wouldn't really have any clout when it came to it because there's a lot of people out there. So it is a pretty interesting thing, but right now, no, they can't. If they became employees and if the state of California said they are employees and Uber and Lyft had to fall in line with that, then yeah, you could probably get some sort of Uber and Lyft union at that point, and I'm sure there really would be. What's up, Dylan? How you doing? Do Uber drivers get paid minimum wage? That's a tricky question right there. And the answer is not always. There is no real minimum wage when it comes to it because they are classified as independent contractors. They are making money when they take a ride, and the money that's made is by time and mileage. So if you have somebody in the car, that's when you're making money. If you're driving around waiting for somebody to come in the car, or it's a dead day or night, and you're sitting there for an hour doing absolutely nothing, you don't make any money for that hour. So no, you're not necessarily making minimum wage. But there are several times if you take your hourly rate and divide that by how much you made in the week, you could potentially be above a minimum wage, but then you have to take in all the expenses that are associated with it. Because again, being an independent contractor, you're on the hook for gas, you're on the hook for car maintenance and car repairs, you're on the hook for any expense that deals with driving. So if you're going out getting water, if you're getting out food, whatever it might be, all those are expenses that are going to be related to driving. And so there's sometimes, times when you're actually not making any money out there. So that's a tough one thing right there. And no, they don't get overtime or holiday pay either. Can Uber fire drivers for no reason? Absolutely. It's called deactivation. Mad Studios, are you new to the game? Are you just because you're asking a lot of questions about whether they're employees or not? And right now, like I said, they're independent contractors. So if you have, if you're new to the game or you're coming in or getting that, that's cool. Uber's they're on a gray area actually, so they're not above the law, but they're exploiting it as far as it can go. And that rubber band is stretching pretty far and it might break on them. So they're not going to be going against the law for much longer. And the reason why I pulled this article up as well, too, is because I believe it was somewhere right in here. They were talking about how, oh, here you go. There's a spot somewhere. I forget exactly where it was, but they said that they could pull. Oh, here we go. Yeah, right here. It says, however, last week, California regulator also issued a formal reminder to the companies that they had to provide worker compensation for their employees by July 1. That's part of AB 5. And under state law, could consider revoking the company's relevant operating authority if they did not comply. So if they pulled their operating authority because you need license and you need insurance and you need all this stuff in order to actually operate within a particular state, including California, and the state of California could get pretty down and dirty and say, if you don't follow what we're putting out there, then potentially you may not be able to do business in this area, which in this case it would be the entire state. So there is a lot of back and forth, and there's going to be a lot of battles when it comes down to it, especially in the courtroom, and especially when it comes to November's ballot for the people in California. But what's up, Lisa? How you doing? July's when London will be decided to. Okay, yeah. And that's coming up soon. That's next month. The Lyft Uber drivers in your state are on unemployment and not working. I believe it. Achilles. I know a lot of drivers out there that are still on unemployment and not really working. It is picking up in some areas. It just depends on your state if there is anything moving that way. Where is it? You are collecting unemployment and you are an independent contractor, you don't log on if your health is in danger, employees can be asked back to work. Yeah, there's some pretty crazy stuff how it's being worded too. So like normally when you're asked back to work, you would go to work, but some places are only hiring full-time workers part-time, and there's a lot of changes to it. So you can actually deny that work because it doesn't meet the criteria that was put forth by the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. So you could potentially still say no to working and still get your unemployment, and you'd have to just fill out the form on why you refused that work. And like I said, there's that requirements that it has to be the same amount of time that you were working and the same pay. If one of those don't or is not met, then you could potentially say, no, I don't want to come back to work. And then there's also possibility of other things where you can say that the whole disease and the virus and everything still makes you uncomfortable. There's a lot of things behind it. But yeah, when it comes to Uber and Lyft drivers and unemployment, that is really a new thing when it comes down to it, because independent workers, independent contractors, freelancers, gig workers, self-employed have never been under this pandemic net of unemployment. So anything that could go on from this afterwards, because it's supposed to end in July, at the very end of July. So you may see a lot of drivers trying to get back on. Whether all states are fully open and whether it's going to be back to what it was before this whole thing, that's still going to be up in the air, and it's going to be pretty crazy to see what's going to fully happen. So, yeah, people pay taxes. Uber, I mean, they do debt stacking. That's a whole different thing when it comes down to it. That's pretty much every business out there is going to do debt stacking. That's the best way to go, because then, yeah, you don't have to necessarily pay taxes. Drivers do pay taxes. You have to. But the only difference is there are a lot of things that you can claim. So like mileage, any business related expense. So like I said, it's on that pretty fine line of if it's operating as it should be, because if you really like dive into it, what is an independent contractor, and you answer that definition, it is much, much different. Lisa, yes, it has been a long time since I did a live. It was May 18th when I did one last. I was looking at that earlier. I'm actually getting back into doing live soon. It's just with summer and then everything, taking care of some stuff. So, Boosted 914, how's it going? Uber will most likely strong arm them and say, "Oh, we're just not going to operate one in Cali." Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the really interesting thing for sure, to see what actually happens and what comes about it. What's up, Gary? How you doing? Uber claims they're okay. Well, let's put this a little bit different. Uber claims they're a technology company that pairs potential drivers with potential riders. And I don't necessarily put that term potential in there. I did that, but that's what they claim, because they're trying to get out of AB5's whole ABC test. So they're saying, no, we're a technology company. We're not in the game of rideshare. We just pair drivers and riders. So anybody who's looking to drive people, we just connect them via technology. And that's pretty much what they've been trying to say since, AB5 was really kind of started, pretty much about last year. This was when it started really coming about. I think it was like May of last year or something was when it was just starting to pick up, and then they had the votes and everything and finally got signed into law. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. So they're not they don't claim themselves as a taxi service, but yet that's their core business. And one of the big things too is when you look at how they've transitioned themselves from prior this whole pandemic through this whole pandemic to keep the stock price where it is, or to try to get it a little bit higher, or to continue operations and appease its shareholders, as well as board, then they're making a lot of cuts here and there, and they're trying to cut and run a bare bones thing. But then they also say, we want to get back to our core business, which is rideshare and food delivery. So are you really kind of kicking yourself in the foot there, because you're saying our core business is rideshare and food delivery, which again, those two things are exactly what AB5 is trying to aim at. So what is it really, Uber, when you come down to it? So they're all over the board. They're trying to appease what is said in front of them at the time it's said. But yeah, so that's kind of a little bit. Mark Roughton, how's it going? Uber Las Vegas in the house. The dog is a horse. Yeah, right. Who collects the money from the rides? Yeah, Uber, exactly. Looked at direct deposits from Uber, and they've been changing their name. Lisa, I heard that. What is it right now? I can't even remember. It wasn't Uber when I mean, I haven't driven since March. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't Uber. I don't think it was Uber Tech. Was it? It wasn't Razor. That's Lyft. Um, I forget. Yeah, but they're kind of like putting different subsidiaries out. It's a little strange. Um, I noticed that though that they're doing it on a more of a large scale. Every day, check multiple times a day, and there's always $5, $12 surge. Yeah, that's what I've been seeing. Throughout the whole pandemic, I've seen anywhere from $3 to $5. But now that our area is opening up and we're actually just about to start phase three of the four phase opened, um, it has gone up to pretty much any time I open up the app, it shows anywhere from $7 to about $11 surge as well too. So surge is going pretty high when it comes to it. More and more people are looking for rides. They're trying to get out because restaurants are opening patio. And every time I go by a patio restaurant or bar, it's jam packed. All the tables are filled. Some people are putting their parking lot and converting it into patio seating so they can open up operations. So people are still going out. People are looking for rides. People are going back to work, so they're using it. The majority of things are still being used. They're just not doing like to the bars and stuff or to the airports as much. So like a Saturday night going out, it's not the same busyness as it would have been pre-pandemic. But yeah, definitely though busy. So Uber customer requests a ride for money, and then Uber sends a driver in a car. Pretty much, yep. Yep, they collect the money. So how is it different from a taxi? Not much. Think of it as the Netflix to Blockbuster. That's pretty much all it is. It's, yeah. For AB5, they are a tech company. For the rest of the world, they are a transportation company. True. Very true, Lisa. You said it right. Thank you. Uber execs are selling Uber stock just about. Yeah, there was a woman who, I forget what the hell her name was, who did it I think it was last week or a week and a half ago or something. So yeah, there are some execs that are selling. I don't think she did all of them, and I think somebody else though that like works with her actually bought more stock. So sometimes people sell stock for particular reasons. Travis sold his stock just to get out of the company. That girl that sold her stock a few like 10 days ago or whatever it was, that could be for any reason. I'm kind of getting into the stock game a little more and more. And I got to say, I'm happy it's gone down because that just means I'm going to buy more. And that's a whole different story though. All right, yeah, in a little bit, we're going to get into calls, so do a live call-in as well. Once the number goes live, you can call in and share your thoughts on whether drivers are independent contractors, should stay independent contractors, or should they be employees? Are you looking for that? What's your reasoning? And then if neither of them are working properly, or you think there needs to be some change, also voice that too, because I really want to hear what you guys are all thinking as well. Vegas just opened up. Yes, it did. June 4th, I think. I don't know. June something like that. It's something I want to get back to. I actually want to. I was in Vegas this time last year, and those pictures on Time Hop are popping up, and I'm like, I want to get back there. I love it. I don't care if there's a pandemic or not. Shh, I didn't say that. There hasn't been a surge. Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's nobody in Vegas right now. I mean, right now there's more people coming in, but it's going to be slow to open for sure. Lisa, what are you texting me? Oh, point of sale deposit, Uber San Francisco. Oh, okay. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I forget what I'd have to look it up on my bank statement. I don't remember. um, be driving again in the near future? Not sure yet. Still on the fence about driving. I actually, my car is getting up there in mileage, and it's creating some problems. So there's a couple of things I have to get fixed on it. Once I get that fixed, I'll be back out on the road. I'm actually hoping to get things fixed up by next week, and then hold on, I want to check the date. By next week. So I'm hoping that the week of the 22nd, which is in 10 days, or 21st, but when the pay period starts is the 22nd. I'm hoping that's when I'll actually be back out on the road. Just because, I want to get back out there, honestly. I enjoy it. I have fun. Yeah, there's a lot of bad rides too. There's a lot of people, but it's still fun overall. And it's one of those things where you've been cooped up in the house, nothing's going on anymore. They pretty much canceled everything around here in summer. So all the festivals, the fairs, all the fun stuff is pretty much canceled. So it's like, well, how can I get out and have a little bit of fun? And, rideshare is still fun. Uber and Lyft suck, but rideshare is pretty fun itself. Steve has already started. He's been telling me. So him and I have been talking about it with him getting back out there. But yeah, I do want to get back out there. Wow, Chell. Not cool. Not cool at all. All right, well, let's get into some of the calls. So put that on so when people call, then I know. But yeah, if you want to call in and voice your opinion, then call in. That's the number right there on the screen. If you're out of the country, sorry. But Chell, you're trying to get rid of me. That's not cool. Nice to operate as a company that hires and fires but doesn't pay taxes. Yeah, I mean, well, Amazon doesn't pay taxes or hasn't really paid taxes, so it's a big thing there. But they pretty much, deactivations can be for pretty much any reason, including false reports. So if somebody calls up and says, or makes a report through the app and says, my driver appeared drunk, they'll deactivate you. That's usually temporary. They can pretty much say any fake report that they want to pretty much get a free ride. So they're trying to do that essentially. But it can really mess with the driver themselves because, it could lead to a permanent deactivation, and there's no real way to fight it, which is a very unfortunate thing. And they say that they do an investigation, and they really don't do an investigation in any way, shape, or form. That's one of the major things that really needs to be overhauled, at least in my opinion, is this whole deactivation thing. When it comes down to it, because essentially, yes, that's like you're fired, and there's nothing you can really do about it. So one of these types of things that is so easy to sign up for, and anybody can sign up for as long as you meet minimum criteria, which means you have an okay driving record, you aren't a felon in a certain criteria as well, because it's broken down, and you have a car within or a 4-door car or larger within the last 15 years in most areas, then you can drive. And that's pretty much the easiest thing. So they look at drivers as expendable. There's been a lot of even employees of Uber that work actually for their corporate office and say, they treat drivers this horrible way, and so it's very well known that's the case. Chell, we're gonna have a talk later. We're gonna have a real talk later. Uber's a public menace, yes. Hey Morgan, how's it going? Or Pat? Danbro missed the channel, been driving the whole time. Nice, that's awesome. If you're making money out there, that's good. Good to hear. Hey, yeah, I'm back. I haven't really been anywhere. I've just taken a few days off for the most part. Just injured my neck, couldn't really move. I was laying on the couch for a couple days. Much, much better now. And then Bills Mafia, hell yeah. Go Bills. Yeah, and then just being that it's been so nice out, just trying to enjoy the nicer weather because it doesn't last too long. So she can really hurt you right now. She's a tough cookie. Whoa, why are we ganging up on me right now? Jeez. Still wanting to scratch his eyes out. What? Go Bears. Oh, Lisa, did you get my text about Wegmans? If you go to the Wegmans by my house when you come here next, good luck getting through on Instacart because they're changing the entire store around. Have fun with that one. It's not fun. I was just there earlier. That's not good. But yeah, again, I want to know, what do you guys think? Call in. Let me know. Do you think that drivers are independent contractors? Do you think that they're exploited and should be employees? Or do you think neither of those two are the answer and something new has to happen? Again, I think there's a lot of things that need to be overhauled. Deactivations is a huge thing. Some sort of pay compensation needs to be different, especially when it comes to this upfront pricing, because how they do it, if you don't know this, what they do when you are a rider for Uber and Lyft and you try to get a ride from point A to point B, wherever that is, what Uber or Lyft does is they give you the longest and slowest possible route to the passenger, and that's the price that they see. Then they tell the driver to go the fastest and quickest route, and that is why you're getting some of these, 50, 60% or even more when it comes to what Uber collects on its service charges and fees. So if you want to get back at Uber and Lyft, take the longest and slowest route. Then that'll bring you back down to around the 25% mark, where they take about 25% and you get the nice 75%. That's just something that you can do. Unfortunately, though, people in your area are going to know the difference on if you're taking the long way around. So it could be a little potential issue there. But when it comes down to it, yeah, that is something you can do to kind of get back to them. We are both independent contractors, employees. I can see that. All right, let's see. Hello.
Hi, I'm calling from California.
Hey, perfect. How's it going
How
over
are
there?
you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. This is Eric. I watch your videos and I watch your channel pretty religiously out here. And I saw you're doing a live thing, and I decided I wanted to call in.
Well, thanks for watching and also calling in. But yeah, right from ground zero, essentially, being in California. And we're kind of the spectators right now watching, but you're kind of in the whole thick of it. So,
well, I could tell you it was a really, really crazy last week. And seeing those protests up in Hollywood, I'm sure you pretty much watching the news back east, and just 40,000 people Sunday and then a few thousand Saturday. And it just seems like it's just been every day, no matter where you are out here in the Los Angeles area where I'm at. It just kind of interrupted things. And Instacart, I strictly do Instacart. That's the reason I was calling. Okay. And they literally turned the server off on Saturday and Sunday in the LA zone area. So we weren't able to shop anywhere because all the stores were closed, the server was shut down, and it was kind of difficult. Unless you had to travel out of the LA zone, then you'd be able to see batches. So, so that was going on last week, and I was just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents, because I've been doing Instacart now strictly almost 2.5 years. I come from the Grubhub world. I come from the Postmates, Uber Eats, DoorDash world, and I stopped doing all of that and pretty much primarily been doing Instacart. And I can just tell you, since they hired all the people It's been very difficult, as I'm sure you've been seeing, and these batch bot shoppers and that script tool that was grabbing the high-end batches and all the illegal shoppers. I mean, I was seeing illegal shoppers and guys with 3 phones in their hands and thinking they can get away with doing stuff like that. It was pretty ridiculous,
Oh yeah, for a lot of the things I've been hearing about Instacart. It was crazy to hear. Like people were getting in vans or getting out of vans, and people were handing them cell phones to go and shop. Which is crazy.
I'm literally out in the Santa Clarita, which is about 45 minutes from the LA area. So we're a pretty big, huge community out here, and it's very, very popular. A lot of people use the app to shop, and I'm out there from 6 in the morning all the way up until 7 or 8 o'clock at night every day. Oh. And whether it's Santa Clarita, whether it's San Fernando Valley, whether it's LA, wherever I'm at, it's, very, very used, and a lot of people do use the app and shop. And, I mean, God bless, I've been doing very well. And hopefully, things are going to change. And hopefully Instacart's going to, obviously doing some improvements. I'm sure you saw that message of prioritizing batches. That's going to take a while. It's not just going to happen overnight, because people are still rat racing and just trying to hit all those batches every single day. So that world hopefully will come to an end and things will stabilize. We'll go back to normalcy again. I don't know if that will happen, but we're going to try to see if it's going to happen. And hey, I'd love to see you come out to the West Coast, because I know you're East Coast. You're out there in Buffalo, New York, but you're welcome to come out here to Los Angeles and the West Coast and just hang out for a minute and explore things and absorb everything out here in Southern California.
Oh yeah, Cali is I mean, it's nice there. I've been in LA before. I do want to get up to San Francisco and Napa and all that, have a little bit of fun. So I do have to get back out in the West Coast again. Probably in the next stop, hopefully it'll be Vegas soon, but, it'll be good just to get back out.
Definitely. We need you out here on the West Coast for sure. I mean, your presence, I mean, you've got a big presence. I see a lot of people writing in your chat and watching your videos when you post them every day, and keeping me informed and keeping a lot of people informed, no matter what gig economy, whatever they're doing. I appreciate all your posts. I appreciate all your stories, and I appreciate you. That's the reason I had to call you, because there's many, many people I'm sure whether they're doing Instacart shopping, because I do kind of all of a sudden I see YouTube that's just filled with all sorts of Instacart shoppers posting their videos, watching them, shop orders, whether it's that silly guy, Jay Investments, up in Tacoma, Washington. I don't know if you know him, but he is hilarious, He's a pretty funny guy, But I'm not. I think it's a whole new world. It's a whole new world for me to see all these people, especially yourself, using the platform to keep everybody informed and aware of the gig economy and all the different platforms.
Yeah, we try. But so I gotta ask you a couple questions now.
Sure.
First, being in Instacart and coming from more of the delivery world, being you're a full service shopper, correct? Then?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you're technically considered independent contractor at that point.
I sure am.
So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that AB5 is a good thing? Do you think that you should remain independent contractor, or do you think there should be some protections in place? I know shopping is a little bit more different because of the last couple of months are very strange, but they had just put the new changes that they're doing for Instacart in place, which is, I think, going to help because it's going to be batches given out on star rating, a few other things that's happening. But what do you think? Like, do you want to be part of AB5 as an employee? Do you want to be considered an independent contractor, or do you want something that's going to be kind of third bearing?
To be honest with you, I'm kind of tossed between both, between AB5 and independent contractor, because I mean, obviously, we got to have flexibility to start looking at those batches starting at 6 in the morning, and whether you're going to wake up and start looking at those silly Costco batches and go hit them and be part of those 30 people I see at Costco every single morning shopping those orders, obviously. You know, because I could tell you, I've been through it all. I've seen it all. I've absorbed it all, and I mean, I definitely think we definitely need some type of a plan, you know, for health benefits, and obviously because of the COVID, you know, crisis and the Corona crisis that's out there, I think our health and our lives obviously have been endangered and at risk here for the last 2 or 3 months, and wearing our mask and risking ourselves going into the stores to go shop for customers and bringing it to their doors, and whether it's contactless delivery, taking that picture, you know, all of that whole world. I mean, obviously, I kind of feel like they have to compensate in terms of health insurance. And I mean, listen, Instacart's an $8 billion company, you know, so yeah. I feel as though they need to, you know, do a little bit for us shoppers in terms of offering us health insurance, and so we're protected. And I mean, honestly, we're going to have to see what's going to happen with this AB5, and if it's going to get passed, and then they're going to start having to make some drastic changes, obviously, for us, you know, for our safety and our well-being and our benefit, you know?
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. Now, I've kind of followed up a little bit as well, too, with Instacart and AB5, and I think from what I've seen and heard, Instacart's much more easygoing when it comes to saying that their shoppers, their full service shoppers, are going to be employees, because already their store shoppers are technically employees. So from what I've heard, I guess the transition would be probably pretty smooth. I don't think that they're really going to have too much of an issue. If that's going to change, or how it's going to look if it changes to the work that you may do, or how to accept the batches and things like that, could change a little bit. But when it comes to like Uber and Lyft, that's a whole different arena, because they're so bent out of shape and trying to even go with it in any way, shape, or form that they're putting in $100 million. So it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I think Instacart probably will be a pretty easy transition when it comes down to it. At least it seems like it will be.
I just wanted to say one thing to you about Uber and Lyft, and you know, all the platforms and all the people behind the scenes, the toll-free numbers you're calling, and these call centers that are all, you know, located outside of America, whether it's in the Philippines and Costa Rica and Colombia. I mean, they have all these call centers and all these people that answer their phones. They're nowhere in our country, and they're all outsourced, and they basically are running the show. I mean, that's the bottom line here, you know, and all these executives at their corporate offices hide behind all these call centers that take on all the complaints and take on all the calls, and they're expected to read their scripts, to whether it's drivers or whether it's shoppers, to, you know, answer them, and we're so sorry, and let's see, we can escalate this to our team, and all the nonsense I'm sure you've heard with complaints, and I've heard with complaints as well too, and you know, basically speeches, I kind of call them scripts that they read to us every day, whether we're making a complaint or not. I feel like they're behind a cubicle and they're reading their scripts to us, and just to kind of ease us, and then hang up and then pretend like they're sending it to higher departments, but really doing absolutely nothing except that, they're like shields for the big corporate heads. You know what I'm saying? And I just needed to voice myself to you about that whole entire situation, because, I mean, do you really want a call center in the Philippines running your life? Do you really want a call center in Costa Rica and in Colombia and Mexico and wherever they're all outsourced to take on, you know, all these gig economies? Because that's truly the bottom line. All these corporates, whether in San Francisco, wherever they're located, they have all these call centers and all these people that are outsourced to deal with problems and to give us lines and read scripts and carry on with their business at hand. You know, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on what I'm trying to say to you about all of that. You know, I wanted to hear what you have to say.
Yeah,
you know?
the call center. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's a script. Like, You could, if you were watching some other YouTube channels as well that deal with Uber and Lyft, you can see when they post, screenshots of emails or anything from Uber or Lyft. When it comes, it's a form letter essentially, and there's no personal interaction or even reply. They're just like, oh, well, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we don't want you to take this as an accusatory way, but that's all it is that unless it's a real concern or problem, then you will actually speak with somebody. Like when I've had an altercation in October at this point now from last year, I made a report because somebody got in my face, so I made a report, and within 2 minutes, somebody from Uber who is in the U.S. Was calling me and getting the whole story and everything. So depending on the level of severity, it will get priority, or it will go to somebody higher. But right now, with all the cuts that they've been doing, especially when it comes to, Uber and Lyft support, because there's not as many drivers out on the road, then if you're trying to make a call, you're probably going to be waiting on the phone a long time to actually get in touch with somebody. Even trying to put a report through a in-app message is going to take a long time for it to respond to, unless again it meets a certain criteria where it's a higher level priority. Then you'll probably get something right away. But again, so it's a big problem, and until these companies are able to get back to where they were and rehire or get back a majority of their in-call support staff, then you'll probably get a little bit better. But overall, it sucks. And then Instacart just grew by leaps and bounds. But again, once people start going back out and they start shopping again, and other people are going back to either the original apps that they were using, some people may stay at Instacart, some people may move back to either Uber, Lyft, or food delivery, or go back to their jobs. So you're going to see this transition where Uber and Lyft will pick up, things will grow there, and then you're going to see Instacart kind of probably fade out. At least, again, that's in my opinion.
Right. No, I mean, I hear you, and I just, my not that I have a problem with anything, but I just want to know why all these companies outsource all their customer
it's just cost.
support to all the. I know it's cost, but it's like you talk to human beings, but they just seem like like I was telling you, they just read their scripts to us. No matter what we call to complain, and I've written a tag and I'm escalating it to another department, and somebody will get back in touch with you. Nobody gets back in touch with you,
Yeah.
So I just needed to kind of just voice myself on that whole scenario and situation,
All right, sounds good. All right, Eric, thanks for calling in, and
thank you so much, and I look forward to keep this live thing. Please do more often, and
I will be.
Share it with other things. And thanks for taking my call, and hopefully we'll see you out west soon. Okay.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Thanks for my call. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
You too. Bye. Right. So that was good. Here in California, and then even Instacart. So Instacart is another company that's going to do that. Donnie, what's going on? Okay, you got company where you do $4 an hour or $15 an hour. The people make $4 an hour. And they want to continue making $4 an hour. Hello. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, how's it going? Oh, what happened there? Call back. I don't know what happened there. I heard you for a little bit. Hey, are you there? You there?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Kinda.
Is this the real Rideshare Guy?
This is. How you doing, Donnie?
Man,
What's your opinion, Brains?
Oh, are you playing something on there? Oh, what's going on? Donnie, being a little crazy. No, if you're trying to call in, I don't know what's going on with the phone, but if you're just playing around, that's cool. But I also want to hear what your opinion is. So he may be in the studio. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with the phone right there. Hopefully, be able to figure it out and get back on soon. I'd like to hear what Donnie's got to say. But yeah, anybody else can call in and again voice your opinion on what you think, because we know what Uber and Lyft think. We know what the state of California thinks, but in the whole midst of it, we don't really hear what too many drivers individually think. So, hello, you're on the air.
hey, just call caller number 10.
You are caller 11. I am sorry.
What caller am I?
You're caller
What
number
am I gonna win
11.
tonight on this here broadcast of yours?
How's it going, Donnie?
Well, I'm running a little bit behind today.
What's going on?
Oh, I've been doing a lot of pressure washing, man.
Oh, nice.
I'm getting $25.
Getting 25 an hour for that? I hope it's
Yeah,
not. I hope it's not 25 a job.
No, man, it's $25. I'm washing the dog houses. I'm in
Nice.
the dog house, and I'm washing dog houses for $25. Now,
Hey.
that's better than rideshare. I get there, I drive over there, I wash the dog house out, and it's under the table. Don't tell nobody about it. It's $25 cash deal. And I
Well,
go
that's
over
not-
there and I wash the dog house out. Now, listen, if the dog house got just a little bit of, like poopy poop stuff in there, I got to charge just a little bit more because I don't want to be pushing the pressure washer and getting all this dog poop all over me, so I got to charge them a little more. You know what I mean? Like when you go with rideshare, if you go just a little bit further out, you get paid a little bit extra money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got to make the money where you can, right?
All these drivers that think they're out there in California our way, I'm going to tell you, California our way is a different world. And that's the boot state. But let me tell you, they're going to get all booted off the platform. But what's going to happen is they're going to have them cars that drive themselves. They undercover, man. They hiding them in these underground bunkers. Can't nobody see them on a satellite. They drive down like the Bat Cave. All these going to come out the Bat Cave. They're going to come out and be on the street. Well, ain't nobody on the street right now. They're all out riding. Then what's the self-driving car going to do in a riot? They're going to go pick the person up. And why they got to steal all the tennis shoes?
I don't know why they got to do some of the things, but
Tell me that. Why in the world, of all the things you're going to go get, you're going to go get something you can get recognized in. All you got to do is put the shoes on, and then say, there he is. There's the modulo with them shoes. I'm going to take him to jail. Now what's going on? And then the Uber guy got to come pick him up, and they got 20 boxes of shoes. Come
yeah,
on,
right.
Man.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
No.
But that's how that's not just happening there. That's all over the country in many different spots.
It's not happening here in Mississippi because people standing outside the business with a shotgun, and you don't want to get no buckshot in your butt, so it hurt bad. I drove downtown, and there wasn't even a snail down there. I mean, all downtown cleared out, all the glass is still there. Ain't nobody got to board nothing up because people got a shotgun with buckshot in it. And if you want to get your butt shot, go down there and smoke around one of these stores down here on our main street. You know what they got for 3 stores? And we got one bank and a city hall. I got a key to the city hall. If they want in, the riders want in, I go down there and let them in. Maybe they'll clean the place up, mop the floors. Since they own the building now, I'm going to let them go ahead and mop the floors. I'm going to go ahead and let them clean up in there, take the trash out, and then I can cut back on labor costs.
There's a thought. Are you going to charge them $25 an hour too?
That's what Uber's doing. They're going to cut back on costs. They're going to put all these cars out here riding around, picking people up, and then you just have to go into another business. But then you go into the pressure washer business. Like I was telling you, I'm going to get $25 a car. They're going to come through the drive. They're going to have an automatic stop. Come over to my go down in pressure washing Uber car service. They'll wheel themselves in. I'll clean them off, clean them out, and get them gone, and let them go pick up the next ride. And I ain't got no complaint. Nobody's going to call in. Nobody got to read from no script. And guess what?
What?
We all going to make money. Come on, man.
There you go. I like it. Being the entrepreneur right there. But what do you think with the whole independent contractor employee debate that's been going on for a long time? What's your view on it or your thoughts?
I'm only a rookie. I got right at 12 months and 4,500 rides, 5-star driver, 0.0% cancellation, and I can show you, I can prove you. I got it on both my apps. Now, get this. So here we go. I do it as a network employee because I have so much other irons in the fire.
There you go.
So it is you have the person that can only go buy a car, make a payment on a car, or go rent a car, make a payment on a car. Now that's a totally different situation. But the problem is it's not 85 anymore. Everybody's using this term 85. You need to say it is passed. It is a law. It's no name to it. It's a law. It's the DLC law. It's the law of the land. But Uber and Lyft are going to sit on their ass, and they're not going to do nothing until they take it all to court, and then the big wig up there slams the hammer and says, okay, you got to pay them. Okay, you ain't got to pay them. They'll make it take entirely, they'll have the cars that drive themselves by that time. So then what you going to do, what are they going to pass when the cars are driving themselves? Okay, what do man going to go into court and say, listen, judge, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to send all my cars, I'm going to fire everybody. I'm going to send all my cars out the back cave. They're going to roll up and down to California. We're going to get this passed so y'all don't have to worry about collecting this money or we doing anything. These cars are going to drive themselves. Now, you got to look into the future. The future is that's what's going to happen. You guys probably don't know it's going to happen immediately, but it's going to happen sooner than you think. And by the time they get that happening, then where are you going to go?
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, right now they're gonna try to drag this out as long as they can, so the technology for the self-driving and autonomous cars come out, and then they're like, oh, well, we got self-driving cars, no big deal.
Here's what they're gonna do. They're gonna milk this thing like a baby cow and mama cow combination. They're gonna suck that kid dry. They're going to go as many months and as many years as they can. They ain't got to do nothing till they get in court. There's too many riots, too many pandemics, too many things going on in Congress. Listen, they're not going to hear this story until 2022. You heard it here first. They're not even going to hear the story for another year and a half. It's going to be a continuance on top of continuance on top of continuance. That's exactly what's going to go. They're going to give them 6 months right off the bat. And then they're going to come back in with, hey, I got the drivable cars ready. They're ready to hit the streets. we're not worried about paying no drivers. We don't need them.
Mm-hmm.
Then what the driver's going to complain about then? You fired me? Then what I'm going to do? You got to have more irons in the fire than you can, man. If you got to go out there and collect aluminum cans, if you got to recycle, if you got to sell brownies, whatever, man.
Oh, I agree with you. Yep.
You put out videos, the top 10 things to do other than rideshare while you doing rideshare.
Mm-hmm.
But rideshare is a 70-hour-a-week job. I'm going to hear what I got to tell you. I did it to see if I could do it. Not that I wanted to do it, but I did numerous, and I printed them out. It's all in the book, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the book. The panger, digital hitchhiking.
Nice.
But listen, what I'm trying to tell you, the whole situation about that is most of these people absolutely rely on this as their job. They quit their other job,
mm-hmm.
and then they want to complain about this job not paying them enough. Well, they need to go back to the other job where they got benefits, they got insurance, some people might have that choice. But the only way you can fix the problem is solve the first problem.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's 100% accurate right there. So many people are relying this full time, and that's not what it was ever meant to be. It was always meant to be a part-time thing, and that's the whole difference. People who are doing it part-time or have multiple things going in the fire, then they're not that bad. They're enjoying it. They're making some money doing it, and it's a whole different ballgame when you're doing this full-time.
And it makes a hell of a book. For
Yeah.
real. I mean, I did this for 12 months. Now, I have 2 heart patients in my house, so I don't have time to go out and do Uber Lyft because one of them just had open heart surgery. So I can't go compromise my 2 family members that I'm here watching right now. I can't compromise that to go out and drive for Uber Lyft right now. Not saying down the line when the doctor gives the okay and says, well, they go for labs every other week. Now they can't go for labs right now because the increase of the quote, whatever it is, sickness people are having is increased 2 times here. We had 14 days of only 250 people having corona. Now we have 14 days of 500 people having corona every day. So they got a be prepared thing. Of course, the 12 casinos are open. There's business down there, but there's not business like it used to be because the people that use the platform, believe it or not, they're not even out gambling because of this. A table game, a baccarat game, a craps table, or the roulette table is $25 per bet. So the average person that uses Uber Lyft to get around, go to the casino, and do this kind of gambling, go play their free play and stuff, which they're not out there right now beating the streets because they don't have. You got to have $1,000 to go in there. Normally you can go in there with $100, put $5 down, $5, and milk it. But now you got to be a professional gambler. These professional gamblers, they got chauffeurs that come get them. They got limos that come get them. They drive an $80,000 car to the casino. They don't care about Uber and Lyft.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. And I mean, if they're upping that to $25, they're trying to get the people that are, like you said, milking it, not in there because
they're trying not to get as many people in the casino as they can help from right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way to do that is make the bets crazy.
Yeah, what's the capacity right now? Is that like 25%? Oh, half. 50%. Okay.
They got 50%, and they close at 3 a.m. and they have the green team come in. I didn't give them that name, but they stole it from me. But they got the green team that comes in. They sanitize the whole entire casino. They used to have 13 casinos. That's crazy. 13 stripes on a flag, 13 casinos, and we got Jefferson Davis Confederate Home down here. I'm surprised they didn't come down here and burn it to the ground. So don't give them no idea. So indeed, getting back to the casinos, all 12 of those casinos shut down, and then they open back up. before breakfast. They got a 3-hour layover right there where they just wipe the whole casino. Normally the casinos, I used to live in a casino for about 7 years, 250 days. I'd go there and stay all night. You know, that's how I lost about $1 million. But the subject of the matter is the casinos clean it regularly, and they have glass. It's like a card table. You're like in a phone booth. There's a glass looking to the dealer. Dealer doesn't have a mask on, and you got plexiglass on the left, plexiglass on the right.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't breathe on that person. He can't breathe on you. You only put 3 people at a poker table. At the craps table, it's still standing in line, 3 people here, 3 people there. Now, they clean the dice. They give you the dice, and then when you throw it, they look at it, clean it, get it back to you for the next person. So they got a lot of cleaning going on there. And then the baccarat table, the same thing. You look like you're in a phone booth, and you only got 3 people at the table. But yeah, it's a strange, no buffet. It's a strange environment, man. It really is like a futuristic movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be pretty interesting to see. The casinos in our area are about to open up soon too. So I don't know. I might have to go there and see exactly what it's going to look like.
If you can get a ticket right now, it's $55. You can fly straight into Gulfport anywhere from up north.
Uh-huh.
Like 50 down, 55, somewhere around. The tickets are unbelievable cheap. They want as many people as they can get. You need a room? Holler at me. I got 9 bedrooms at my house. I'll put you up somewhere.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, our casinos are opening up too, so I'd be interested to see what they're doing, if they're kind of doing the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised that they wouldn't be doing the same thing, and I'm sure Vegas is probably pretty close to the exact same thing as what you've been explaining too.
Yeah, I've been watching some of the Vegas shows. They got some different things going on. That they got going on. They got more money. Their casinos per capita are giant. You know, our casinos are, you know, so. But their casinos are giant casinos. These are small little casinos. They only got 3 of them that even have theaters for entertainment. The rest of them are just casinos. So you know, they're not. We're the second biggest market for casinos in the United States. People, they're like, really? And our whole Highway 90 was underwater all last week, but they didn't get much news coverage because they were doing all the riots and stuff. But it was amazing to me to see how quick they got everything cleaned up. And I've been cleaning up. I had some limbs come out. I got some giant oak trees on my property, so I had some wind damage. But I'm 17 miles from the Gulf of Mexico, so it's a lot of work. But other than that, let me bring up one more subject, and I'll get off this request line and get somebody else on there. I know I'm burning you. I'm on this minute phone, man. I only got so many minutes on it. But listen, what I'll do is I had to put some more minutes on. I was out of minutes a while ago. But what I'll do is I will tell you about this mask situation, the mask bandit. To solve a lot of problems with the mask is, I mean, the first thing is, like you say, you're there, you're sitting in the car, you get the buzz, you get the panger, call the people, and under these times, you say, listen, man, I gotta call you. You gotta have a mask. Now, if they don't have a mask, they basically cancel that. They basically cancel it in 2 minutes. If they rebook it, there's nothing comes up on your end, nothing comes up on their end. Because I work for Uber and Lyft, and I know that for a fact. That the cancellation fee rolls back over. It rolls out of the equation. It's a 2-minute window right there. A lot of people don't know that about that 2-minute window. But the only reason I know about it, my daughter, my other daughter, I got 8 daughters. So my other daughter and my other daughter and my other daughter, we all sampled it. I did some testing down here at 4 different casinos. I had them book me. I had them turn it off. Another one booked me. And I also did it for closest to the casino. Once you get more than 5 cars around the casinos, you're like a parking lot. You're just like it is at the airport, believe it or not. You could be sitting at the front door of the casino, and I'll come right behind you and it's got a lot to do with the algorithms of how many hours they work, how many hours I work, how many calls I take, what my rating is, and what my cancellation rating, and my acceptance rate is like 98. It would be better, but somebody canceled. I didn't cancel, they canceled. But get back to the mask thing. The mask thing is the mask thing. If you call and line them up, if you can't text them and you can't call them, you got to go. Of course, you got to go.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I would say in the 80% percentage rate, you can knock all that out. Uber needs to come on and say, listen, man, y'all need to call the customer. They should have come out and said it to begin with. Call the customer and verify all the PPP, all the stuff that's lined up. You're clean, they're clean, you're ready to go down the road. Now, you can't ask for more than that, man. It's so simple.
Yep. So yeah, it's gonna be.
I appreciate you having me on, though, man. For real.
No problem, Donnie. Come on, you got to give me a come on, man.
Come on, man.
All right, Donnie. You have a great night. All right, that's Donnie. Come on, man. Donnie, I might have to use that video idea. Shh. But I'll make sure to give you 100% credit for that video, because that was a really good idea. Because, I've said it. Dustin said it. Other people say it. Donnie, you're saying it. You got to have multiple streams of income, and not just in rideshare or Instacart or whatever. I mean, you should have it all over. Even if you're an employee who just likes the channel because there's some crazy shit that happens, then yeah, you want to make sure that you have multiple ways. If you are doing stocks, if you're in the stock game, stock bonds, REITs, diversification of your portfolio is key. So if one sector goes down, the other sectors should be able to absorb it, no problem. The same thing with income. Diversify your income. So yeah, you should have a lot of different things going on, especially Uber, Lyft drivers, delivery drivers, shoppers. You're all doing gig economy work. It's a great time to make sure you can do other things, because that's one of the best things about gig economy is you can usually go online and offline when you want. Yeah, there's a couple apps out there that have blocks that you have to that you got to work through and all that, but it also gives a lot of time for freedom and flexibility. And that's really what Uber and Lyft harp on all the time when they're trying to say, oh no, don't give up your freedom and flexibility. Well, yeah, that is a main part of being an Uber, Lyft driver, or, delivery driver, or any of those. So that's something right there. 100%. Yeah. Thanks for the support and everybody's support. Halfway there. Come on, man. Gold. Yeah, gold is another one. Are you saying to invest in gold? Yes, invest in gold. 100%. If you are okay, we'll give a little bit of stock advice, I guess you could say. Again, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm going to do what I'd like. Oh, Donnie, thank you for the super chat. That's awesome. Thanks, man. But yeah, if you want to do that, I highly suggest getting into gold, just because. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, I'd like to know if you want to do gay cock and ball torture with me.
I'm sorry, what?
Gay cock and ball torture?
Yeah, bye-bye. Yeah, shit like that, no. So your number is on here. Sorry, you will be not allowed to call in, whoever that was. I was expecting that to happen soon, but that's the good thing about YouTube is I don't really care. It's not like it's the FCC's on my ass. So, Deliver in Buffalo, got a text, welcome to Canada. Yeah, if you're, Lisa, if you're at the, if you're on the 190, which is literally on the Canadian and US border, and sometimes even further south, like Lake Erie, right along the lake in that, you can get that depending on how the markets go. Not the markets, depending on how the cell phone towers are. So if you're getting your cell phone tower signal bounced into Canada, it'll say, welcome to Canada. You see the gold color Think gold. It's always gold. Yes, gold is good. Gold is very good. Gold always goes up. And then, hey, you know what? One of the big things is the US dollar is going to be probably going down with all the money that they're printing right now. So gold is one of those that's probably going to be in a pretty good situation. Just saying. Probably foreign markets, if you can get into the foreign markets as well, too. That's a little bit harder to pay attention to, only because of the news cycles and things like that. But if you pay attention, but that's stocks. Stocks, bonds, gold. Yes, gold, gold, gold. I love gold. It's pretty. I'm just kidding. All right. Anybody else who wants to call in and share what they think about that when it comes to, being an employee, an independent contractor, any other thing with that as well? Driving down, the Peace Bridge. Okay. Yeah, that's the 190 right there, Lisa, the highway. So yeah, you'll get that often. Or I mean, it's off. It happens. I don't really get it too much anymore. I think they started doing more GPS, but sometimes, yeah, if the way the cell phone towers are, if it gets too busy or something on one, it bounces to another, and that's what ends up happening. But the beautiful thing is everything is GPS tracked. So if you ever got like international time or something, then you can go to your cell phone carrier and tell them, look, take these charges off, and they will. So that's one thing you can do. But yeah, like I said, anybody else who wants to call, otherwise we're going to probably wrap this up very soon. And yeah, I will be doing more lives again. Actually, I'm really looking forward. Tomorrow, I'm getting a capture card, which will be able to allow me to do more than just this web camera. So I have my GoPro, and I also have my N2 Pro, which I'm going to probably hook up and see how it looks and works. And then I can get a little bit different of an angle. So I'm excited for that. And then I don't know why mirrorless cameras have to be so dang expensive, but I wish they weren't, so I could at least have a really nice camera and make better quality content. But that's one thing I'm definitely going to be working towards. And Donnie, that $10 is probably going to go to that camera. Just got to put it into that camera fund. So again, I do appreciate that $10 super chat. So thank you. But yeah, anybody has any last minute conversation pieces or anything like that? Yeah, it's one of these things. This topic is going to be something that will probably go on and on until, self-driving cars come out, and then the gig economy for rideshare may dwindle to nothing. Even delivery driving could be implemented into that, where it's going to be something with a autonomous vehicle, and it'll just use text messages to get people to alert to know that the car is there to pick up the food or to drop off the food. The only difference would be right now probably Shoppers and a few other things. And I don't think Amazon Flex is going to probably change anytime soon, but that is another thing right there. They're trying to look for more drivers, at least in my area. Just saying. Lisa. Amazon Flex is actually pretty cool. That's my opinion, and my opinion only. All right, I'm gonna 2 more minutes. If nobody calls in, then I'm gonna be shutting this down at 11. Chelsea, if you're still on watching, then can you bring me some water? My mouth is getting a little dry. If not, that's cool. I'm surprised Lisa hasn't called in. Just putting that out there, Lisa. But yeah, like I said, this is probably going to be something that's going to go on for a while. The biggest thing is, you're going to see a lot of plays from California, because California is going to line up their what they're going to try to do to make sure that Uber and Lyft try to fall in line. Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and a couple others are participating in that ballot initiative for November. So it's going to be pretty crazy. And again, if you're in California, I highly suggest checking that video out. Or I mean, not that video, thank you. That ballot initiative out, because it is really tricky at some of the things that they put in there. So it sounds like you're going to get, 30 cents a mile for car maintenance and gas and, things like that. But you really aren't necessarily if you make over that minimum floor balance. So they put a lot of things in there. Speak of the devil. Thanks, Morgan. Hello, how are you? You're on the air. This is Loveline. This is Loveline. How can I help you?
I figure, what the heck?
Lisa, I'm surprised you didn't call in earlier.
Huh? What?
I said I'm surprised you didn't call in earlier.
Oh, no. Well, I was eating. I just got home from doing Instacart.
Oh, nice.
I know, right? So
are you coming to town tomorrow?
Probably. I'm not sure if I'm going to Buffalo or if I'm going to Rochester, though.
Gotcha.
Because when I was on my way to Buffalo last week, I was in Rochester. I was going down 90, and then all of a sudden I saw a batch, and I was like, okay, I'll take it. I got 2 more immediately.
Oh, nice.
So I'm thinking Rochester might be a good market too, and it's only an hour from my house, not 2 hours.
It could, but
so I could drive home if I wanted to.
Yeah, it could. I don't know how. I think the delivery aspect is pretty good too there. But again, a lot less people in Rochester than in the Buffalo and surrounding area. But then rideshare is nowhere near the amount it is in Buffalo. I had to take rides out to Rochester before, and it is quiet out there unless there's some event going on. But if you're not doing rideshare, then that's not a big deal. Too many rides.
No, I can't wait I can't wait, but I'm waiting for the bars to open up until like they were before, because that's where I made a lot of my money.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, the bars. The nice thing is a lot of the bars that have some outdoor patios, they're all open. Mm-hmm. They're packed. I've been driving by a few places. Duff's patio is open, so I'm really happy about that because then I can get my wings there. But
oh my God.
Yeah, it's good to see that things are opening up. Although I'm going to be interested and really paying attention closely to what's going to happen in 2 weeks because of all the riots and all the people that are getting together, to see how and if things are going to increase or not. So that's going to be pretty crazy. They're drive-through now, Morgan. You just put strip clubs.
Yeah, I see that.
They're drive-through. But Lisa, what's your thoughts on this?
Really, Chris, your girlfriend, the one that she's got a little bump going on there and all, she's listening to you tell somebody else that they're drive-through. You better be ashamed of yourself. No wonder why she wants to scratch out your eyes all the time.
What are you they're not drive-through in our area. I'm just saying there's areas that I've seen set up where they drive through. I don't know, but oh, Pat, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So anyway, so I lost my whole train of thought. Yeah, I really did. No, so I think the independent with the Instacart is definitely more. They're geared. When the AB5 came out, I think Instacart was the only company that so far decided to work as their shoppers to be independent contractors, because they got rid of the scheduling. Mm-hmm. And then remember I told you I was on a schedule and I had to be in Buffalo at a certain time, or I had to be back in Syracuse at a certain time because I was on a schedule. And then if I missed it by a half hour, then they canceled your shift. Well, with the Instacart, they have the batches in the queue. And you've seen those. So now they have the ability to say, well, our shoppers are on the platform and we don't tell them which batches to pick. They pick out which ones they want. Mm-hmm. Which would qualify us all as independent contractors. And which isn't bad. I mean, well, it was bad when everything got crazy and the new shoppers came in and the bots came in and started taking all the batches and stuff. But we really didn't have that problem up here too much. We just had a problem with oversaturation in the market. But now that they're going back to your star rating, hopefully this will help us, the people who have been doing Instacart for a long period of time, or who enjoy actually doing Instacart because they like working with people, will be able to weed out all the people who are on other people's accounts, all the bots and stuff like that, because, you know, I mean, we don't know how well their ratings are. I know I get complaints a lot, especially in Syracuse here, because I shop here more. But I get complaints all the time saying, "Oh my God, the new shoppers," and "Oh my God," and then I'm getting complaints from customers. So all these new people are not going to be on the platform long. They're going to realize they're not going to be able to see any batches, because if stores are complaining about them, customers are already complaining about them. It's only going to take like a week. And all you need is a couple bad ratings or a couple people saying you're a 3-star or a 4-star, because right now everybody's a 5-star. But as soon as but as of today, then if you get a 4 or a 3-star, that's right, automatically going to drop your rating, and you're not going to be a 5-star anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy to see what happens. I think it's going to help though. Overall, because if you have 750,000 shoppers and the people that were requesting are now starting to go back out to the stores, they're starting to go back out to restaurants to eat, and you see that demand start to drop, it's going to be good for the people who have been doing it for a while, and it's going to help, especially when it comes to those bot grabbers and some of the other things. So I think it's going to at least help a little bit. If it's going to put an end to it, still who knows?
Probably not. What they need to do is, now they started with the priority batches again. And they also implemented a new thing where if they give you less than 5 stars, they have to tell you why. Take it you don't watch my videos, do you?
No, I saw that, and I got that email too.
Oh, okay, because the video that I'm talking about got almost 300 views in 24 hours. Isn't that weird?
Nice.
So anyway, I know, isn't it weird? But anyway, that if they rate them less than 5 stars, they have to tell them why. And if they complain about the time or something wasn't in the store or something, that's automatically going to be forgiven, because that's beyond our control. So anything that's beyond our control, unless we're telling a customer off or we're just giving poor service, it's going to be forgiven. Thank goodness. Hopefully they'll stick to that. And then the only other thing they need to do is, when you get to the store, right before you start a batch, they need to be asked for a photo ID. And then when you go to cash out, they need to ask for another photo ID, like we do with Uber.
Yeah. So it's, I'm just looking up the email now. So it's reintroducing priority access to batches, requiring customer feedback for low ratings, which I hope, because that's supposed to be the same thing for Uber and Lyft. They say if you get less than 5 stars for Uber and Lyft, you're supposed to be giving the reasons and that why. I have never received feedback ever, even though that was supposed to be something as well. And then, identify the areas with most batches. So that was what they were talking about within that email itself. When it came, this is Instacart.
They're going to also, you're going to be able, because right now, remember I was telling you that I was seeing batches out in Canastota and stuff, Oswego, out here in Syracuse, they're like 45 minutes away.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now that they're going back to priority batches, then the higher stars are going to be able to see the batches close to home. See, now when I'm out in Buffalo, I see all the batches in the area that I'm working in. If I'm working out by where you are, I'm at the Wegmans or the Aldi's by you. If I'm over by Sheridan or whatever, I'm over there. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing batches over there at that Wegmans. Or if I'm out in Williamsburg or Hamburg, then I see batches. But that doesn't happen in Syracuse. In Syracuse, I see them in Canastota, Oswego, Fulton, Auburn.
Well, Lisa, that's the difference between but that's the difference between the areas because the population is so much different. So,
so much different.
Having our area, there's where I am, there's 6 grocery stores, large ones within 3 miles of me in any direction. Then you go into another section, again, there's like 6, 8 grocery stores within a little block as well. So when you're in that area, you have more populations. And even same thing in Rochester, it's bigger than Syracuse. I think by double the population or something. So that's part of the reason with that. But
150.
Hopefully that's going to be. And Dustin, what's going on?
Did you just now see him? He's been in here for like a half hour.
No, he just, I messaged earlier. You were talking. I didn't want to interrupt you.
It's okay. No, that's all right. I just wanted to call and give my feedback about it because I think New York always follows California. I mean, California went to paper bags. New York went to paper bags. So now they're going through this with the AB5, which Donnie says is law, but technically it's a law, but it's not a law that is like in the books yet because they have it on the for the November elections whether or not they want to get rid of it. So now they're going to put it back to the voters and say, do you really want it? Do you really want to be an employee after they fired all those people last year? They fired the 3,500 customer service. The next week later, 2 weeks later, they fired another 3,000 people. So now they're going to say, on the ballots, it's going to say, do you really want to be an employee for Uber? And everybody's going to be like, no, 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 no. And Uber's going to get their way.
That's possible, but I don't like the ballot initiative at all. I mean, I
think they already got this. I think I saw somewhere where it's already on the ballot.
No, it is. It got the proper amount of signatures, but nobody saw what the ballot initiative was going to look like until until it was posted because it was approved. I put a link in one of my videos to the actual document. It's 24-page, but there's so many loopholes in it. That's actually the name of the video is like the loopholes. So it actually has that PDF file in there. They really, if you look at it, some of the way that they define things, a lot of it has to do with active miles or active or engaged time, which means there has to be somebody in the car or you have to be on the way to pick somebody up for it to count. So if you're they're talking about for minimum wage, they're saying if you are in engaged time, that's only when it qualifies, not when you're doing dead miles or waiting for a ride to come in. Those types of times are not being covered. So it's like it really drops it down in terms of what they're trying to cover. And some of the stuff that they're putting in there, like this 30 cents a mile for car maintenance and stuff like that, first of all, is not 58 cents a mile, like the IRS has said for when it comes to expenses. But it also doesn't necessarily have to get paid out all the time, because if you make over this net floor, then it kind of just gets absorbed in. So it's this weird way that they worded things, and it's really, it's not good. It's not in a driver's favor at all. It's in Uber and Lyft's favor 100%. And it just shows you how shitbag they are.
Well, they did the same thing in the apps when they were first asking about it. Remember, everybody was on the videos, and they were showing what Uber and Lyft were sending them, and it really didn't make any sense. But when you do Uber, it won't let you go to the next thing on your Uber app until you say yes or no to the one thing they have on the app. You know, so they a lot of people were already railroaded, and then when they had last year when they had the rally, they said, "Oh yeah, we got food and everything, with lunch and everything," and then you turn around and you had to sign a petition in order to get it, but you didn't find that out until you drove 3 to 6 hours to get there. That in order to get the free lunch and talk and make yourself known, is that you had to sign a petition and a waiver, and then you got this cool shirt that says that you were independent. And then you had to, like, Dave the Uber slave. I was watching one of his videos when he was at the rally. Or not, I'm not sure if it was Dave or it was somebody. I don't remember now. But it was so long. But they said every person said they wanted to be independent. They did not talk to anybody who actually wanted to be an employee, which started the whole thing to begin with. One person out of like 20 people they talked to that wanted to be an employee and why. But you got to remember, look at like with Mandy and we had Crazy Dasher. These people, like, they had health insurance. It wouldn't have been such a big deal. But, you know, the biggest deal is that they cut rates, and so nobody can afford to pay for health care.
That's the whole reason why there's, if we were still at the rates before upfront pricing, you wouldn't see any of this. All drivers would probably be pretty happy, and you'd probably have a waiting list for drivers in areas because there'd be a lot of people still trying to sign up. So yeah, it changed. The whole of it changed a lot, quite a bit once they did that. And, you know, then again, you can go on websites that have the history of pricing in a particular city or state, and you can watch it. Most of the time it drops. Every once in a while it goes up just a little bit, but most of the time, yeah, it drops. And, you know, that's when people are going out and they're making $3 an hour because they don't know how to drive, and then they're going to be mad about it because they don't know how to, you know, take advantage of the program, or at least the area on how to make more money.
Yeah, but if they had health care, they offered a 401 for their drivers, then a lot of the stuff wouldn't have happened because people would still drive knowing they still can go see a doctor and still have money for retirement. I mean, that's basically what it was. That's why Mandy and them all fought to be an employee, is they wanted the rights that all the other W-2 jobs have.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with it? There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Just you can't be an independent contractor for years and years and years and not see a doctor, a dentist. You saw me. If it wasn't for my my W-2 job, I wouldn't have got these new glasses that I got because of my health care. You know. So
yeah,
I mean, that's.
It's a real. I mean, the problem also is that you have such a high cost of healthcare too, when it was supposed to be a lot different. But they said that it was going to go up, and it has done nothing but go up. So when you have a huge rise in healthcare costs and couple that with lower and lower pay, yeah, people aren't going to be able to afford that. And I completely understand that. But the other thing too is, this whole thing, as we were talking about before, is not designed for full-time work. As Donnie said, for a full-time person, that's like 70 hours a week in order to do it. And, you know, I say it, Dustin says it, Donnie says it, other people say it all the time. You need to have multiple opportunities going at one time and diversifying your income, because if something happens in one, then you can fall back in another, or others, or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, Uber and Lyft, if you're going 78 hours on this and all of a sudden you get deactivated on one of the platforms, and let's use Gio as an example. He got deactivated off Uber. And then look at what he's had to do after that. He was doing Lyft, but before this whole pandemic, then he started getting into a few other platforms as well. So that's, if he wants to continue in the rideshare / gig economy, which includes other arena platforms, then that's cool. But still, you want to make sure you have multiple things going on. And, you know, the whole thing with AB5 employment and things like that, that's one foul swoop that can really impact people who are multi-apping if they say, oh, you're an employee here, you can't work for that company. And they're in the full right to do that because that's competition to compete. Or, I mean, that's competing competition right there. And so, yeah, they could say, nope, sorry.
Yeah, but a lot of people, I don't know, because a lot of people do it because, you know, they want to get out of the W-2 stuff. But you got to remember, a lot of this passive money is, a lot of it is YouTube stuff. Because you remember on our channels that we can write that, we can put all our codes in for all the delivery apps that we have, all the rideshare apps that we have, for the Get Upside app, for
the referral codes, yeah.
All those referral codes. That is good if you do YouTube. If you don't do YouTube or have
it's good if you have some sort of audience.
Twitter, you won't have that. So you got the people who don't want to work W-2 jobs who just work all those hours.
Mm-hmm.
Where, you know, I mean, like even me, as small as my channel is, I signed up. Well, I didn't sign up. 3 people signed up for Instacart using my code when the pandemic started. And yeah, one was in California, Chicago, and in New York City.
Yeah.
And I know them if I see them in the stream, but I can't remember who they were. But that's because of my YouTube channel, because they saw my codes in my description.
I mean, referral codes are great, and if you utilize them, that's a way to make extra money, but those are sometimes one-offs. And also, as you can see with Uber and Lyft, they're not doing the referral codes anymore. So you can't even look at that. Like, I don't take, if I get a referral from somebody, I don't take that as like income. I just take that as a bonus because it's not something that is built into how I make money. I just look at it and say, oh, that's cool. I made a little bit extra money here or there. And I mean, again, for the average person who may not have a larger network, but is still able to sign up a couple people, that's some extra money in their pocket as well, too. But again, the only problem is it's not something that you can really build something off of unless you have a large network where you can do that. So it's still hard for some people.
Well, I keep getting money from the Get Upside app because I you know, you sign people up and then you still continue to get money even when they use it, their friends use it, whatever. And I had Rideshare Trickster signed up under my code. He turned around and signed up like 98 people because he knows a lot of racing people and stuff. So, you know, I'm getting that money too, you know. So, I mean, like a lot of that. And then there's the, you know, all these different things, the Robinhood app and stuff like that. But, like, I think
Robinhood, Webull, privacy. I mean, everything has built into now a referral or marketing affiliate link because it's a very good way of that company to be able to get word of mouth advertising and paying a little bit because it's going to end up being a lot more effective than running a billboard ad or running a YouTube or Facebook ad. It's going to be a lot more effective that way, and that's why they're doing that. But again, referral links, it'll be good for people to, if they can do that and if they have that network. But it's not, again, that's not something I would say that's a reliable source of income, because again, you're one-offing. And when it comes to some of these like DoorDash, Instacart, those referral links are very hard to actually see them pass through, because they're time frames in that. So, yeah, it's not something I would say to have reliable income on, or at least even look at it as some sort of income coming in that way. I would just say continue as a bonus.
Well, people don't look at it like that, Chris. You got to remember that, that's the way you do it. You have a business and you're stable. Like your mindset is the way it is. You run a business and stuff like this, and you know what you have to do. But for a lot of other people who say, oh my God, I can do this and I don't have to work a 9 to 5 and I don't have to listen to anybody. And then they put all these codes in there and they start generating some money that way. They want to keep doing it, even though, you and Dustin and everybody says you got to have backup for your backups. Obviously, the dilemma, the pandemic we just went through is a great example. But when they make money from any of these things that they can just put into their channels or their Twitter accounts or whatever, and they make any type of money on there, they're going to just want to keep doing that, thinking that if I start working a W-2 job, I'm not going to have time for this, I'm not going to have time for that, and then I won't be able to get all those referrals. And I'm looking at it as like a lot of people, because a lot of people that I've seen on my channel, I've seen on other channels that are younger, that have started doing rideshare and stuff like that, or deliveries. That's how they're thinking. They're thinking, well, this is great money. Why do I have to have a backup for my backup? And you'll hear it, like Dustin's always saying that when he does live streams. Because remember, his live streams used to be a lot longer. And people would argue with him why it's a great idea not to have a W-2 job. So like that's why he's always saying that you got to have a backup for your backups, because people would argue with him. No, I'm making great money. I'm doing this, and I can work whenever I want. And
well, I mean,
unfortunately, these companies just make it look enticing.
Yeah, the convenience factor is great for so many people because of everyone's busy lifestyle. So when they're out there and they're making, what looks to be $23 an hour from doing rideshare, they're not looking at the costs associated with it. They're looking at the income. They're saying, oh, I was out for 4 hours and I made $100. That's what they're looking. So they're like, oh my God, if I can just do this and transition, if I work 40 hours, multiply that by $25, I can make, X amount of dollars a week, but I don't even make that in my job. They're not taking into account the taxes they're going to have to pay on that. They're not taking into account necessarily the gas that they have to put in their car, the mileage and depreciation and expenses, wear and tear and all that. And that's one of the biggest problems. If people were looking at what it truly was in terms of what your income that you get, but what you actually can use towards whatever it might be, like going out for dinner or paying the bills or whatever it is, you're going to see two different numbers. You're going to see your gross income, and then you're going to see your net income after taking out all those expenses and taxes and everything. And again, people don't look at that because they say, oh, I made $100 in 4 hours. I should quit my job. And I can go on anytime I want. Oh, that's great. And then 3 weeks later, oh, I'm sorry, you've been deactivated because somebody said that you were harassing them.
Or you were drinking, or your car was dirty, or, look at Rick Reviews. He got deactivated at the same time as Gio did last year. And somebody called in. He told me that somebody called in and said that his car was dirty, I think it was. That's why he was deactivated.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I love Rick. Rick is always around. He's never even out of line with anybody. I think it was somebody who obviously just wanted a free ride. That's
That's
you know,
about.
I wish you and Dustin would. Huh?
Oh no, go ahead.
You and Dustin are doing all these parodies and stuff like this. I wish you guys could come up with something like that because you both have great followings. You're both.
Wait, come up with what?
You're both. Something like that. Something where you can show young new drivers or delivery people the truth behind what we do. Like, I don't know, you guys do what you do, but like in a video, like somehow just show them how it can go from good to bad. I mean, obviously people are still signing up, so the pandemic had no effect, you know. But
Dustin, you hearing this? Let's figure out a couple of things. Maybe we'll get something tomorrow, and then 225. Yeah, Dustin said 225 a mile when he started. It was 205 when I was driving too, and that was in Charlotte. And that, well, I mean, it was around that. It wasn't really a mileage. It was, I mean, no, it was. Yeah, it was 205. Yeah,
I was $1 something when I started.
Now what is it? 60 cents? 68 cents? I don't even remember. It's been that long.
It's either 60 or 65 cents now.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's something like that. Yeah, Dustin, we'll have to come up with some stuff like that, whether it's a parody or you know, just kind of some of the stuff behind it. And then when Dustin and I actually can get together now, because everything's starting to open back up, instead of having like these weird cuts, we'll actually so yeah, Dustin, think about some of that.
You guys, people follow you guys. People listen to both of you. I mean, look at when you guys go in streams. You know, like people listen to you guys. You know, it would even putting Sensei in there because people listen to him as well. Something where it might be great, but when something happens, then what are you gonna do? You know. And it gets me because of the health insurance thing with Roy when he got sick, and there's no health coverage. And when Crazy Dasher almost died, he was real sick. And then when Mandy needed a health coverage, they all had trouble getting health coverage. I don't even know. Roy was supposed to be getting health coverage, but like they ran through hoops just to get it. Because Uber and Lyft or any of these platforms don't like to say how much they're paying out. Because then, you know, they don't want the government to come back and say, oh, well, you're paying them that much or you're not paying them enough. I think this is why they wouldn't give out income statements when people were trying to file for the unemployment. You know, I mean, I could be way off, but I was thinking that, but I mean, I never filed for unemployment, so it never affected me, but I was thinking that. I mean, I don't know, I could have been way off, but that's what I was thinking.
I don't know. I did it with my business, so it was a little different for me when it comes out down to it. But yeah, it's, you know, it's, see, the biggest problem is when it comes to these false reports, like it could be the greatest passenger you had in the car, and then all of a sudden you're getting the report after the ride happens. And that's the biggest issue right there, is because there's nothing you as a driver can actually do in order to prevent that from happening, because you don't know who that person might be. You don't know who's going to do it. And like I said, they could be the best person and the most, you know, greatest ride you ever had. And you're like, wow, that was such a cool conversation. I like that person. I hope that that's the rest of the night that I have. And yet they're the ones who are making the false report and trying to get a free ride. And you could have another person who's a grumpy son of a bitch getting in the car, and then they tip you $20 at the end of the ride because, you know, that's just the way it is. And everybody's different how, one, they interact with individuals in that type of setting, but then also, you know, what are the passengers going through outside of coming into the car and all that. And so, yeah, it's tough to actually put that into terms of is that a good ride that's going to screw you down the road or what? And that's hard to quantify. That's hard to put into even, just me and Dustin or you or anybody saying that, besides just saying, look, people are going to make false reports. There's nothing you can really do about it except for have a dash camera, record it, send the footage if you can. Yeah, Dustin, it's a long stream. But yeah, it's tough. And, I mean, being able to say what to do, it's hard because everybody can, I mean, there's 2 million different types of false reports, and some of them will get you immediately deactivated permanently. Other ones will get you a change in terms of going from what your fare is and take your fare away from you. And then the other is a temporary suspension. So there's a lot of different things in there, and it's tough to really grasp that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's. I think I saw a video that you did one time where that happened to you, where you dropped off a rider or something, and then all of a sudden you couldn't get back on the app or something. I could be wrong because it was a while ago.
Yeah. No, that was last week. Last week or so, 10 days ago or something like that. I put out when I got deactivated. Yeah, it was.
Was it last week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a recent one.
Are you sure? Oh
Yeah.
my God, Lord have mercy. Lord, the world is going right by me, and I'm not. Oh my God, I'm working way too much at this job.
Yeah, no, it was about 10 days ago. Yeah, if anybody else wants to see that video, if you haven't already, when I got deactivated, and here's the crazy thing about that. That was the first ride when I got my dash camera installed. That was the first ride the first day I got this and I put it in my windshield. That was the first ride I had, and they claimed a false report. And it's like, really? So, I mean, at least, they made it worth it for me. Like, I stayed out the rest of the night because I was on Lyft, and luckily it was busy that night. But then I didn't go out the next 2 nights because I was kind of pissed off at what happened. And then Uber's, finally got back and said, oh, you're allowed to go back online, and here's $100 convenience fee. Well, that's great that I got that $100, and I'm grateful that I did because it was a bullshit report to begin with. But not everybody's going to get that. Some people are going to get permanently deactivated for a false report, and there's nothing you can do about it, which is the worst part of it. So... yeah, that's the, I mean, that one pisses me off probably more than anything, because people, this is a good way to make money if you know what you're doing. And it's a great way to, I wanted to show off my camera. Okay. Oh, look, Ninja Shoppers.
Oh, no shit.
A message is held for review. If you're struggling with Instacart batches, contact me at Instagram, and I'm going to talk.
No shit.
Do you see that, right?
Shoot. I just.
Any of my mods will see that, but anybody who isn't a mod won't see that. Sorry, I'm not going to put that out there. It's going to be actually.
Don't hide it, though. Don't hide it, Dustin. You screenshot that.
Yeah, somebody screenshot that and then send me that because that's funny. Because I'll post that. I'll post that at a different time. But yeah, that's. This is one long 5-minute phone call. Yeah, I know it's
like
38 minutes.
Oh shit! I've never seen that before, and I'm in so many delivery groups and stuff like that. And you're a rideshare channel, and it's right there.
Yeah, but I also make Instacart bot videos. Yeah, but here's the thing: is that Dark Road Run? I could see that being Dark Road Run.
Oh, you know what? That's right too. And he's been making a ton of channels. I
could see that being DRR. You know what? I guess somebody go to Instagram and see if that's the. Sorry, for anybody who's watching that isn't a mod, it's somebody who a comment that's been revealed or that's up for review, and so that's what we're talking about. It's supposed to be a Ninja Shopper, which is the Instacart bot. So that's why we're getting a good laugh out of that, and hopefully you'll get a laugh out of that too. I'll probably try posting that when Dustin sends me that then, so I can at least show it on the community tab.
Oh
I'm gonna I'll censor out the Instagram though, the Instagram handle. Although I'm gonna check out that Instagram handle. I'll do that later. I know if that was Dark Road Run, that would be hilarious. Actually, I'm gonna go on Instagram right now and see if that is actually, if it is actually it. And if it is, I'll show it real quick, but I'm not gonna show the handle. What is it?
There you go. It's an email.
Oh, here it is. Oh, it's
Yeah. Oh my Lord, that is so funny.
This
I
is
have not ever.
This is showing a video of the bot grabber. And I'm just trying to not show the handle, only because I don't want to give them any publicity right there.
Publicity.
So yeah, that's what's happening. So apparently it is legit because it's the same logo, unless Joe is doing something really funny. But then I would see that more being Dara K.
Oh my God.
Oh, perfect.
That's funny.
Yeah, all right. Dustin just texted me that. I'm gonna put that on the community tab. So anybody who's watching that wants to see that, I'll put that on there soon after this is over.
Yeah, that I have not seen. That's so random. And now with the you would think you would have seen that before when
No, not necessarily because I haven't been live.
No, but I'm saying on other streams though. I mean, I have never seen it before.
You know what? I mean, it could be in held comments because if they're putting in things in there, it'll go into YouTube and they'll hold the comments under like spam.
How did it get by your bot?
Well, because this is a live stream, so this is in the chat. This doesn't mean that I don't know, people. I mean, I could have gotten something from that account before, but I don't check my spam and I don't check the spam and held comments at all because I don't care. I only respond to the comments that are published. So yeah. At least that's.
I think this is the one that I seen this one. I think I saw this one when I was looking. When I was doing a video on the bots, I think I saw this one. Oops.
No, that's a real. Oh, look, they just started following me on Instagram too.
Can you unfollow them, or are you gonna just leave them there?
Oh, I don't care. They could follow. It's the Real Rideshare Stories Instagram. I don't care. Oh, that's hilarious. That's really funny. Oh my God, that's not something I expected.
So, well, I'll let you go on that note, and you can open your line to Dustin Is Driving and see what he has to say about it. Oh my God, that was weird.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
really excited about that.
Well, if you go live driving tomorrow, maybe you'll see that pop up on yours. Or if Dustin, when you go live next, if you see that pop up on yours, that'll be pretty interesting.
I'm wondering if it's going to be. I wonder if it's going to be on any of anybody who has YouTube that is actually in your stream. Say like, you know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Anybody who's in your stream, if they will just, go to their channel. Anybody who's in your stream, or are they just pinpointing this to you?
No, that's supposed to be in the live chat, but that's why it's held for review. So because the comment put the Instagram handle, like YouTube will automatically flag it for either deleting or reviewing or at least or publishing it. So that's the difference there. So no, that's supposed to be going out to anybody in the live chat. But because I didn't, because nobody who's a mod is hitting show, it's not going to show up in the chat.
Show? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
All right. Well.
No, I'm gonna post that picture. I'm gonna post that picture on the community tab later, which I think that's hilarious. It's so random. All right, Lisa. Well, if you're in town,
Do what Dustin would do. Do what Dustin would do. Put a poll with it.
Put a poll.
Put a poll with it. He loves those polls.
Oh, I could. Well, but the thing is, I can't show the picture then if I do the poll.
Oh.
That's the only difference. All right, Lisa. Well, you have a good rest of the night.
All right, you too. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so that call took a lot longer. Somebody knows how to talk, and it's not me. It was her. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy thing. So yeah, like I said, anybody who's watching, I will post that picture in the community tab. I am going to censor out the handle though, only because, well, it's not necessarily supposed to be around anymore. Pull it. Yeah, people, yeah, that's another thing. If you do, whatever. Yeah, if your comments on the channel, if it's ever like YouTube videos or email addresses or anything like that, it's going to automatically go into the spam folder. I don't check those anymore because it's just too much crap. Trying to keep up with just the comments itself, the published comments is tough enough sometimes. Yeah. So don't put that in there. Just put normal fun comments. And then I can get back to you. But if you got something that you need to get hold of me for, just email me. That's the easiest way you'll get hold of me. He's right. Lisa, you can talk. No lie. If you and I if we sat down and was in the podcast room doing a podcast, I could see that going on for like 6 hours, but I would cut it off at the 3-hour mark. I'm just messing, but it's probably true. Lisa, when you hit 1,000 subscribers, you will get the community post in the community tab. So you can do that soon. What are you at now anyways? 400 something? And if anybody else wants to call in, I'm going to shut it down in like 2 minutes if nobody else does. Just saying. Can I borrow some of yours? Community tab. 444. Nice. Awesome. You'll be there soon. Yeah, if you're getting 300 views on a video in 24 hours, that's not bad for your size channel at all. Once a video pops, though, and you get a couple thousand, then, it can grow pretty quick. And that's what happened, one of my channels. Once I hit the 10,000 mark, I'm going to go back and do the first video that popped and my reaction to it, because it's like, holy crap. Oh yeah, Dustin, you and I talk a lot. Oh yeah, we need a podcast. We'll call it Rideshare or Rideshare Roundtable. Mad Studios. So did you diet? That's up to everybody. Unfortunately, that's something that is Mad Studio. That's somebody it's up to each individual person right now, whether they're driving for Uber, Lyft, or not. Or in the gig economy itself. So I made this decision, or at least my opinion leads me to believe that with the more restrictions that have been placed on drivers, with the rollbacks in pay, with those types of things that they try to coerce you to do, it is definitely an exploitation, and drivers probably should be considered employees. But I don't also want to be really considered an employee because I don't want shifts. I do. So it's this hard thing to actually figure out. But yeah, Mad Studios, that's kind of at least my basic answer. There's a lot more going into it and diving into it. And then Michelle, what was I going to say with her? Why I drive. Let me go back to that. Where's the comment? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Michelle asked, why do you drive for them? And the reason is because they're the only ones that are in the area. But I do, honestly, I like rideshare. I really like rideshare. I think it's a cool concept. I like the fact of helping people get home at night when they're drunk. Sometimes dealing with them can be very, very annoying, and you really have to make a conscious memory to remind yourself that you are getting them home safe and they're not getting behind the wheel. So that's one reason why the money is good. You know, if you know how to drive, if you know how to take advantage of the system to make it in your favor, then you can make quite a bit of money. But the only thing is, you need to make sure you also take in account your expenses, your taxes, all of that stuff to know exactly what you're really making, instead of saying, oh, I made $100 in 4 hours, and you know, spending that $100, and then you're in the hole much more because you got to pay your taxes. You're going to have a problem with your car down the road. Maybe you need new tires or something like that. So you got to just be conscious when you're doing that type of stuff. But I like rideshare. I mean, I like the concept behind it. I think it's a cool way to make some extra money. I think the greed that these companies have made for themselves, both on a board level and a bonus level for themselves, is appalling and horrible. And when they treat drivers as a commodity that they can just replace, that's a bad way to look at it, because the drivers are out there doing the work. And, you know, yeah, there are going to be more people coming in and going out. But for people who like doing it and have fun doing it, then, you know, you should treat those people pretty good. And unfortunately, they don't do that. So Uber and Lyft could potentially do much better if they choose. But now they are publicly traded, and they also have the fiduciary responsibility to do all that they can do to make their shareholders happy. That is one of the whole things when it comes to fiduciary responsibility and fiduciary duty. So that is a problem when it comes down to it. Whoa, Hunter. Damn. Guy telling you can make a lot of money has his Uber car broken. No, I just have a couple of things that I haven't fixed yet, and I'm waiting for my friend to get back to me. So that's the only difference. I'm waiting on my buddy. My car is still drivable. It's just I want to have those things taken care of, so if I'm on the road, nothing happens. And it's being preventative over, being on the road, having somebody in the car, and something actually does happen. So my car isn't broke, but I just don't want to drive until it is exactly where it should be. Dustin, he's talking about me. Yeah, you make friends, connections. I made a few friends out of doing this too. Hung out with a couple of people, gone to the bar, had a few fun times. Still talk to a few people. So can't complain there. Chris said, I have 2 cars. Only one of them I'll drive, though, for Uber and Lyft. I won't drive my other car. No. My brakes. Actually, I am going to be changing my brakes soon, but not because they need to be changed. It's because I want to get my brakes changed because of they're under warranty still. And no bald tires. Hell no. No, my all the safety equipment is perfectly fine in it. It's just there's two things that I just got to get fixed, which again, I can go out and drive if I wanted to. I want to get that taken care of first because it's a problem that could be potentially something that could turn into something very quick. So that's why. And my friend works on my cars, so he does it good. I trust him, and he does it a lot cheaper than a shop will. So that's one thing I do like. And unfortunately, sometimes it's not on my schedule, it's on his. Both new. Nice. All right. Well, I am going to shut this down. So let's get back to the right screen. Because I'm not going, or because nobody's going to call in now. So if you do try, sorry. But yeah, again, it's going to be an ongoing battle wrapping up when it comes to this whole thing with Uber and Lyft, with its drivers to appease the state. All that stuff is going to be a long-waited battle, and it's going to be pretty interesting. And as things go on and change, then maybe I'll change my stance. But, you know, it's always ongoing on what I think about that. Is Hunter screwed? 9. Oh, that's good. You're going to be all right, Hunter. Okay, Mad Studio. Uber on or don't. Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, make sure to subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. I'll probably be doing some more live streams soon. Hopefully, just with the weather, it's beautiful out, so I'm trying to enjoy that because unfortunately we don't have a lot. But as always, never drink and drive. Always tip your drivers, your delivery drivers, and your shoppers. And we'll see you next time.